Hello dear travelers, how are you doing? Greetings from Tajikistan. We're at Khujand now. Today's video is going to be about the park and square of the stars of Khujand. So this is one of the small parks that are located in the main street of Khujand in Ismail Samoni Street. Let's go. The park has a bust of the cultural figures from Soviet period, basically those who supported the establishment of Soviet government in North Tajikistan, and some writers and poets and scholars from Soviet period and early independence period as well. So it's worth mentioning that 1917 was October Revolution, being part of Russian Empire, northern part of the country, and Khujand also eventually became communist, and in 1917, 1918 they supported the October Revolution and promoted the establishment Soviet government. There's some you can see the figures here. This one erected later after independence, Arslan Bey Ozibekov. To be honest, I don't know who is him. We need to do some research. Then we've got some other figures. You can see the majority of them were born before the October Revolution. So we have got some ladies here. Mastura Avezova, Ulo Shamsidinova. They were some, we can say, the first women who embraced the modern life that was brought by the communists, and supported the education of the ladies within the country. And it's worth mentioning to stay in the bust of Mr. Muhammad Osimi. He was an academician and the president of Academy of Sciences. Muhammad Osimi was one of the important cultural figures of Tajikistan. Probably later I will do some separate video about him. He died in 1996 during civil war in the country. Rahim Jalil, a writer, poet. Then we have here the Mr. Babajan Gafurov. Is one of the heroes of Tajikistan and the author of the book which is called Tajiks. In his book he did research on the history of Tajiks and entire region, including Central Asia, Afghanistan, Iran, from ancient times until the October Revolution. Then we have got here Jabor Rasulov, one of the heads of Tajikistan during Soviet period. They say it's the okay. Then we have got there is a monument dedicated to those who supported the establishment of Soviet government in the country. On this side it's in Russian, on the other side it's in Tajik. There's an inscription that says glory to those fighters of establishment and strengthening of the Soviet government in Khujand. Here again, some Russian. And we've got a square here in which we use it basically for celebration. Every new year, I mean the calendar new year, there is a they erect a big New Year tree here, and there's concerts are held, and also And also when there is a Persian New Year Nowruz celebration, here they erect a big tree. It's not like it's usually symbolizes similar to apricot tree with the blossoms, symbolizes spring and the nature awakening. It's worth mentioning that Nowruz or Navruz, how we call it, Persian New Year, is one of the biggest celebrations in Tajikistan, which is revived after independence. There's a big concerts on Nowruz here as well. So we are further going towards the statue of Kamal Khujandi. This is basically going to be the end of the small park. The statue of Kamal Khujandi was erected in 1996. Kamal Khujandi was a Sufi scholar, a mystic, and a poet born in this town in 1320. So basically, we have a separate video about Kamal Khujandi when we get to the park in the future. Now, stopping in the statue. Actually, his full name is Kamaluddin Masoud Khujandi, and the author of the statue or the sculptor, his name is also Kamaluddin. It's of course it's coincidence. The statue was erected, as I told you, in 1986. There is a height of this statue 3.5 meters. Behind the statue there are two structures similar like a wing. It's just to symbolize the kind of a holiness or giving him some aura of saintness. Kamal Khujandi holding a book in his hand, and it's worth mentioning that although he is rather famous as a poet in Tajikistan, poetry was not his main job. He was just using poetry to express his ideas or to guide his students. As I told you, he was Sufi, so he in his tariqa or in his order, there's lots of students who were following him, and while teaching them, he was using the poetry. So reportedly, he has something like 14,000 couplets or 28,000 lines, but until now his divan or the collection of poetry that we have from him includes 8,000 couplets. Basically includes ghazals. Ghazal is one of the genres of the poetry in Persian and Arabic and literature. That is basically about love. Expressing love can be holy love, love for God, love for this the prophet, or it can be the love, for the beloved, the lady or a man. So Kamal Khujandi, along with Abdul Rahman Jami, is one of two Persian poets whose ghazals had a standard of 7 couplets, so they did not exceed 7 couplets. It's always 14 lines. After this statue was erected in 1996, later similar statue, basically a bust of poet, was erected in Tabriz by the same sculptor, Kamaluddin Nadirov, in Tabriz in Iran, where the poet lived his last years and died. So his mausoleum is located in that city, in the tomb of two Kamals. There is two Kamals everywhere. The one is Kamal Khujand, a poet, and another is Kamaluddin Behzad, which was an artist, a miniature artist. So, in the next video, which we are going to do about the Kamal Khujandi Park, the symbolic mausoleum, and his house, we'll talk more about the life of Kamal Khujandi.